Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, we look at the film Son of Sam, directed by Ulli Lommel in the year 2008. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. I'm your host, Mila Sipka, and join me as I take you on a ride through the wild world of science fiction action horror, all from my personal DVD collection. Now in this episode, this is pretty much the second time I've done one of these Arthouse Atrocities episodes. The first one was a few episodes ago, and basically where I take an Arthouse film that either is being well received or not, and pretty much belonging to the genre, of course, and pretty much which is Atrocious, which I pretty much take apart. Now in this episode we look at the film Son of Sam, which is one of those ultra cheap, scuzzy, low-grade films that Ulli Lommel was made during the 2000s. Now this particular film, like many of its ilk, was released through Australian DVD, originally for rental label Peacock Films, and then through dirt cheap budget label Flashback Entertainment. And by the way, this film came out originally in the US as a direct-to-video feature on the 9th of September 2008. Now, Son of Sam is another one of the uniformly atrocious serial killer films made by noted genre director Ulli Lommel. Lommel started doing arthouse films in his native Germany before abandoning that and heading to the US. Since then, he has made various cheap genre films. Since the millennium, he was busy making a staggering number of cheap films based on serial killers. Son of Sam, like all of Lommel's post-millennial works, has been given a very bad reputation by most genre reviewers. You can check the comment section on IMDb if you don't believe me. Indeed, the film is nowhere even close to being watchable. The various satanic worship depicted in the film will leave an unpleasant taste in the viewer's mouth. Now, this particular film is an abstract retelling of the real-life crimes of the notorious serial killer who terrorized New York City during the 1970s. David Berkowitz, a loner who happens to be mentally ill, gets sucked into a satanic cult. Given a weapon and the word to kill anyone he meets, David heads out, shooting various innocent victims. At first, the police were baffled by the nature of the murders, but after linking them by the weapon used, which was a .44 caliber Magnum revolver, they called the killer the .44 caliber killer. A letter was then found at the scene of one of the murders, giving police a vital break. The killer was then arrested and charged. When finally caught, he claims to have been influenced by a demon that lived in his neighbor's dog. Given the name Son of Sam by the media sure loves to put those demonic nicknames, David then changes his story, revealing the involvement of the cult. Despite being Jewish, David opts to be exorcised of his demons by a Catholic priest. Now, the main problem with a film like Son of Sam, or indeed many of all of other Lommel's ultra-cheap serial killer films, is that Lommel doesn't seem to know how to make a cohesive story. Instead, using the tricks he learned in his art house career, and pretty much whatever little talent he had left, to carry the film along. We have sound effects and voiceovers, frayed editing, and what has become Lommel's trademark, his infamous lather, rinse, repeat method of storytelling, in which the same scenario is played over and over again with little variation. Not to mention that the film has almost nothing in the way of replay value. The film has nothing that would interest the viewer enough to watch the film again. And what is a cardinal sin for a horror film, even an arthouse one, the murders are glossed over with only the victim's poorly done corpses shown, which have such cheap makeup effects that would dismay even the slightest competent filmmaker. In fact, even amateur dramatics makeup classes have better gore than this. The acting is, for the most part, execrable. Cast by Lommel due to his likeness to the real killer, Yogi Joshi is a very poor actor. The rest of the cast is slightly better, but still quite wooden. Although Lommel shines as a Catholic priest sent to exorcise Joshi. One thing I noticed was that despite being about real-life events, albeit somewhat loosely, the credits stick with the standard disclaimer stating that the characters of events are fictitious. What about the real David Berkowitz? And while we're on the subject of David Berkowitz, real guy, in real life he became a reformed model inmate and renamed himself Son of Hope. I think they actually did mention that during the film. Now, these Ulli Lommel films, like I said, were released for a rental label called Peacock Films. Then, in the mid to late 2000s, Flashback Entertainment, which was a dirt cheap budget label that haunted pretty much every $2 shop you go to, well, they pretty much re-released the whole thing, except for Zodiac Killer, which is the only one they didn't release. For some strange reason. My copies of the Peacock Films one. Now, these discs have very mediocre picture quality because pretty much the production values are pretty low. And some of Lommel's films have really low production values. I mean, we're talking about it looks like shot on low-end digital camera or something. The soundtrack is, well, it's usually a stereo or 5.1, and there's no subtitles, no supplement either. So if you do want to get this film, it's relatively easy to find copies of it, but don't pay more than $5 for it. That includes postage and handling. Okay, well that was it for that episode. In the next episode I'll do another Ulli Lommel film. You'll find details in the comments section in a day or so. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay safe. Oh, and by the way, I don't do reviews, requests, but if you want to have a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comments section. I'll answer. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and that's it for this review.